Welcome, paranormal enthusiasts, to this week's episode of Creepin' It Real, here on the Coast to Coast Entertainment Network, where everyone comes for their paranormal fix. Real people, real stories, in real time. So glad you could join us for some ghostly gab. I'm your host, Eleanor Wagner. Hi, everybody. As always, I appreciate you hitting the subscribe tab, follow button, or show app on your podcast of choice. Everybody give a hello shout out to our coast to coast techie, Chris Mabry. He'll be working hard tonight to help us run smoothly. I have to share what happened to me earlier. I'm so excited about it. I made a post on Twitter and Instagram about a book that I had been gifted by Broad Street Books in Branchville, New Jersey. And I ended up getting a like. And it was from the actual author's daughter. So Hans Holzer's book was liked by Alexandra Holzer. I was so excited to get recognized like that. My guest today prides himself in helping families with their spirit issues, and he's been doing it for the last 20 years. Join me in welcoming John Curley from the Harrisburg Area Paranormal Society, or H.A.P.S, as they are known for.
Yep.
Welcome, John.
Hey, Eleanor, thank you for having me on the show.
So glad you could come on. So, you help families.
I do.
What
Yep.
exactly is your mission statement when it comes to these investigations, John?
Well, we come in, and anybody that's experiencing paranormal phenomena, we'll come in and validate those claims of paranormal activity and give them consultation. I never tell them I can get rid of something in a home, but I will come in and validate it. And if they need help and they want a blessing or something like that, we could arrange it. But as far as me telling someone that I can get rid of ghosts or demons or I don't do that. I come in to validate their claims of paranormal activity and do a pretty good job of it. Been doing, I get a lot of stuff in investigations, which I'm proud of. So,
Keeps you busy.
oh yeah, yeah, it's a busy thing. Like I said, when COVID hit, it was really slow, but now COVID is lifted. We are back in full swing and busier than ever.
I feel people have been more receptive to accepting the paranormal world and seeking out the help instead of hiding from it.
Yeah, yeah. Finally, when I was a kid growing up, it was very taboo to talk about if your house was haunted or you seen a ghost.
Yeah,
No one talked
yeah,
about that kind of stuff when I was a kid.
no.
I'm
You
50
have
years old,
some,
so you know.
well, you're around the same age as I am, so I know
Uh,
exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, I mean, what shows did we have when we didn't have any ghost shows? We had In Search of, and that's incredible. Things like
Yeah, Unsolved Mysteries was another one too. I used to
yeah.
like to watch too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
I
yeah,
loved I
yeah.
loved In Search of with Leonard Nimoy. That was the best show
Oh, me
ever.
too. Yeah,
Uh,
me too. Well, you have something you call a bucket list investigation. What exactly does that term mean?
That's just like, someplace we might have seen on TV or something like that. And we just go and investigate it for fun. Maybe to have some kind of personal experience or take the new people to investigate a really big place. That's kind of been on TV or it's been highly publicized. Or maybe it was a famous a haunting case or something like that. We'll take them there, like the Conjuring House or something like that. That's basically what we do. We just go and have fun with that and just try to collect as much paranormal evidence for our own files as we can. Um,
How how many team members do you have?
Currently, I have 10. I have 10 now. When I first
I
started
know
it,
it
it was just me and another guy, Don Frank. He's a co-founder, and it was just me and him for a long time. And then
it
we
goes up
finally
and
started getting
down over
members.
the
Yeah,
years. People come and go, and paranormal drama, who gets along with who, that kind of
yep,
thing. I mean, when we
yep.
first started, it was a bunch of ladies with one guy, so we called ourselves the Lady Ghostbusters, and that stuck for a real long time. And now my team actually is made up of the equal amount of men as there are women. So it's like, well, let's rethink this. So we started um, talking about what we wanted to change the team name to, and so it came to New Jersey Spirit Hunters. So now I feel a little
Nice.
bit more comfortable. Yeah. But yeah, that one guy hung in there for the longest time with Lady Ghostbusters, and he's happy that we're now something that's
Yeah, it's very rare that
we,
you have people that stay the course with this. You have some people that are, at first they're really gung ho, and then they just fizzle out. You know, you don't see them anymore, you don't hear from them, and it's just you just
yeah,
like, yeah, that's
or
it.
they think they're all of a sudden they get a big head and think they're the greatest thing since sliced bread, and
Yeah,
everybody is stepping on their toes, and it's
yeah,
just yeah, I don't think so.
yeah.
So
I've seen them all. I've had them all, and I'm just like, I've seen the whole gamut of people that came into the team, and I'm just like, ah, Lord, it's like drama, and then I got to get rid of them, and then it's just like, I don't have time for it anymore. If you want to be a part of this, then let's be a part of it, be a team. If not,
yeah,
move on.
e-
I don't have time for it.
easygoing, accepting
Yeah,
of everybody, getting along, sharing experiences, helping each other out. If you're like
yeah,
that, then you're somebody that I want to work with. But if you're
yeah.
somebody
I'm
who
all
starts
about,
saying that, you
yeah,
know, talking
I'm
about
all,
somebody else,
yeah, I'm all about putting in the work too. Like, let's put in the work. I don't want to hear excuses about I don't have time to do this or I don't have time for that. We're dealing with the public and clients and people that want an answer. We need to get this stuff
to
done.
try and figure it
Yeah,
out.
if you
That's
can't get
right.
it done, then if you're just in this for your own personal experiences, then maybe you need to go to these ghost hunts and things like that. I don't do ghost hunts. I do paranormal investigations. I'm
Hmm.
investigating and researching. It's not what I'm about. If you want to do that kind of stuff, then you go do that with someone. Pay somebody to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't do that.
You brought some great stuff with you tonight to share, and there was a residential case that you were working on in New Bloomfield, Pennsylvania. It's really a very intriguing story. You came to receive this picture and how you figured out who it was in the end. Can you tell us about that before we show the pictures?
Yeah, yeah. We originally did this case back in 2013. Um, we received the email from a client. She said that she was having paranormal experiences in the home. It was around Christmas, maybe a week before Christmas, and we received the email. And she said that they were exchanging gifts or something on Christmas Eve or something like that, or I can't remember the whole story, but it was like right before Christmas. I know they were like exchanging gifts or something, and they went up to the bathroom, and there was help written on the cabinet in blood. Looked like blood from what I have the picture of it. It looked like blood. Um, and they were kind of freaked out about it because
Mm.
she had confronted her kids. Did you do this? Did you write that on there? And they're like, no, no, we haven't been up there. They were freaking out, and they contacted us. And I was in contact with her about coming to investigate. And then she sends me this picture of her daughter with taking a selfie with an old Nintendo DS, and that the old one, like just like kind of when selfies first came out, I guess and she's taking a picture of herself, and her mother is off to the left. But when she takes the picture, it's just her and her mother in the room. When they're looking at the pictures, there's this other female in the picture, like a side profile, like coming into the picture, and they were both like wondering who this woman was. They're like, we don't know who that is. We're the only people in the house, and we don't know who this is. And
Yeah, there's the picture. Chris just put it up. So
yep,
the little girl is in the middle. Her mom's just walking past her to the right, if you're looking at the screen.
her
And then
mom's,
all of a
yep,
sudden,
yep,
and there's this woman to the left just poking her head into the picture randomly.
yep,
And I just love pictures like this because it's one of those expect the unexpected moments. And when that person realizes the spirit's in the picture, it can be terrifying when you look at it afterwards.
yeah.
Um, so, how was it that you came to realize who it was in the picture that wasn't really there but was there?
Well, we were, she sent me this picture, and I'm like, can you get me the landlord's number? And she said, well, I'll contact him. I said, okay, we'll contact him and see who was your prior tenant. that lived in the home before you. They were renting the home, and she said, "Sure, sure, I'll contact him today." So she contacts him. He gives her a name, and she goes, "Okay, the name's Carla, such and such." So I Google the name, and when I Google the name, an obituary pops up in the on the online, and there's pictures of this woman in the obituary, and I'm like, "Oh my God, this is her." She passed away a year prior to this picture being taken, and that's her.
Um, okay. So actually, I wanted Chris to put up the picture that she's sitting on a couch with a friend randomly.
Yeah.
Um, that one, she's the one to the right, the woman to the right.
Yes.
And then the comparison picture, Chris, you can put that one up now. Where yeah, you can see her circled there, and you can see the face really is the same person.
Yeah. And she
Wow.
and she had been passed away for a year.
How did she pass away? Did you guys ever find out what
Yeah, it
happened
was
to
a
her?
very uh, suspicious death, I should say. It was a drug
So
overdose,
I
but but
under
it
suspicious
was
circumstances?
yeah. I can't talk about the whole thing yet because
Mhm.
it's a lot of stuff just surfaced about it.
Mhm.
All these years later, almost 15 years later, almost. Um, I wind up just the other week talking to that woman's son. He contacted me through Facebook Messenger, and his wife had come across my podcast talking about this case, and I don't know what the odds are of that happening, but she come across my podcast, heard the story. He had came home and she told him, you need to listen to this podcast. It's about your mother. And he listened to the podcast and he contacted me, and I'll
There
be
are no
talking with him.
coincidences, no
No,
coincidences, and I'm sure when he
none.
saw that picture, he probably said, "Oh my god, that is my mother," right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was 15 years
Now
old when his mom passed. He was
oh,
15,
okay.
and he's 30
So
now.
you did mention that help in blood picture. So
Yep.
Chris can put that picture up. That has something to do with her death, I'm sure.
Yes.
It'll eventually
And
come because you were going to be writing a book about this particular case, correct?
yes, yes, I am. Most definitely. Um,
And so you figured out what that help was all about?
well, I, this is really strange. I was talking to her son, and he said in that home, he lived in that home for 2 years with his mother. Now, his mother didn't pass away in that home. His mother passed away in a different house, but his mother used to write things on the mirror in that bathroom for him, little notes saying, "I love you, have a good day at school," things like
Oh,
that. Yeah, and when he
yeah.
seen that, he's like, That's my mother for sure." He's like, "She used to write things like that on the mirror, like not help, but she used to write, 'Have a great day at
Little
school.'"
messages.
Yeah,
Aw.
yeah, and that
Aw.
was that was on the cabinet and on the sink that was wrote
Mm.
there.
You
Yeah.
want to know, even if nothing more comes of it, it could be just simply that her son knows that it was her, could be all that was meant to come of it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I feel like it could be the simplest thing that he just needed to know that,
Well, we definitely figured out why she was saying help. I can't say on
oh,
here.
you did. No, I can,
We
okay,
didn't.
okay.
I mean, I'll tell you off air, but I can tell you one thing. It's amazing, and it's changed my mind what I thought about dying. I've always told people I'm scared to death of dying. And I'm a paranormal investigator, but I'm still it scares the hell out of me. But after I've heard all this stuff with this young man, and I'm not on the fence about dying anymore. There's definitely a life after this. Somehow,
Oh, yeah.
this woman has changed my whole thinking about dying. And you live on after you die. This woman proved it. It's there. It's in the picture. It's in the writings. I mean, EVPs that we caught saying her
Mm,
name. I was using a spirit box, and I'm not one of those people that are really into spirit boxes. I just think that they're always going to be, people are always going to say, well, they're radio stations or this or that. People are always going to try to disprove those things. So I did use them earlier in my career of ghost hunting, and I hate saying ghost hunting, investigating. Um, and I had some really weird things with ghost boxes, and I can't explain them. And in that house was one of them. I asked, Carla, can you say your name over this device? And it said her name. It says Carla. Like,
Mm,
Carla. I mean, it comes right out and says Carla. And I'm like, I can't explain that. Like, that's like hitting a lottery of me asking that
yeah.
question and the name, her name coming up in that sentence of radio sweeps. I can't
Wow.
explain it. But I'm
That's
not one of
that's
those people that live on a spirit box. You know what I mean? Like, I like to hear voices and investigations out loud. I like to hear EVPs that I can really prove. If I'm going to
mm-hmm.
present it to a client, I want to be able to prove it 100%. And they're just not what I use to prove to a client that there's paranormal, phenomena going on. And but that I just it's one of those things that I can't explain. It's
Hmm.
definitely paranormal.
Yeah.
I can't explain that it happened, and it happened more than once. That's what blows my mind.
Well, I look forward to this book. How soon is it going to be coming out?
I'm in the process of just writing it. Actually, all this stuff has transpired in the last couple weeks, and talking with him, and it's amazing. I can't. It's a journey that's come around 13, 14 years later, and it came full circle, which is amazing. Like, that never really happens in paranormal investigating when things come around full circle like that.
When it does, it's great. Well, you can tell she probably wants the story to be told. So,
Yeah, and that's exactly what I told him. I said, "Your mother wants this story to be told. Like, it has to
yeah.
happen. This is not a
Yeah.
coincidence."
Well, I look forward to that.
I can't wait
You
to
all
write it.
investigated a building whose owner was a collector of all kinds of old pianos.
Yeah,
And you installed a recording studio in the building and just recorded music, or he did.
he did.
He
Yeah.
record. Okay, and
Yep.
he began experiencing all kinds of paranormal activity.
Yep.
Um, we actually investigated an old piano shop too, believe it or not.
Really,
And
that's cool.
yeah, in Pennsylvania, one of the team members actually worked there, and always had, and we spent the night there and actually had a ton of stuff happen, including a door, a huge garage door that was broken and it was non-functioning and it was actually blocked with tons of storage stuff that he had aside from pianos, but other things he had blocking this whole thing. And in the middle of the night, the garage door actually opened and fell down, closed, like boom, boom, and we
Wow.
got it on camera, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, that's the door that's broken. It's not even snowing outside." So everybody ran out to go and see if there were any footprints in the snow because we thought somebody was trying to just pull our leg, to just
Yeah,
mess with us for some reason. And there were no footprints in the snow and nothing. So we are in the belief that it was something that was paranormal, but it was crazy cool. And
that is
then
cool.
the team member John, he's a pianist. He plays piano, and
Oh wow.
he considers himself mediocre. I mean, I think he's better than mediocre, but he plays piano, and he can actually channel every single time he sits down to one of the pianos. So he'll sit down to one of the pianos, and all of a sudden he'll start playing this stuff that he has no idea where it's coming from. It's just coming from whoever it is that he's channeling, and you can physically see his face change while he's playing. And when it's all said and done, he'll say, "That wasn't me playing. I don't know where that came from." But he's an ultra sensitive person, very sensitive to spirit. So it makes sense that spirit would use him to channel through to play. But we had that experience that night at that investigation too. So that was pretty cool. I
That
want you
is
to
cool.
tell me what happened when you investigated your piano place.
Yeah, this place was pretty cool. It was near the Ohio River. It was like an old, like industrial park. and this man, he was actually really cool guy. He had a lot of history in music. His He tuned pianos for famous rock stars. Actually, like the man who taught him how to tune pianos tuned like Liberace's piano, and I mean,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I'm like, wow, he's telling me all these stories, and he's got pictures of all these people in his studio, and he goes, yeah, well, we play music in here, guitars. They record, they had like a little band, but he had like hundreds of pianos in his warehouse, and a lot of the things were focused at that front door. He said he was in the studio one night and he was recording a song, and the whole vestibule lit up in this gold sparkles. He said it was like gold and sparkles, and it was so bright. And then all of a sudden, it was gone. There was nothing there,
Hmm.
and he would hear like footsteps out there and things like that. So we set up a camera there, and we were just sitting there in the dark, and just waiting for something to happen. Doing some EVP questions and things like that. And we're just looking around, and I heard the front door handle jingle, like someone was getting ready to come in the front door. And you'll see me in the video. I'm looking around, and all of a sudden I look over because I hear the door handle moving, and the front door just blows open, just comes open. I'm like, whoa! And
How'd
the
that
other,
happen?
yeah, I'm looking, I'm looking at the door, and I'm waiting for somebody to come through it. I thought maybe the owner had came back, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, well, where the heck is he? You know what I mean? And Carl's like, I know that didn't happen. He was the other investigator with me. He goes, I know that didn't just happen. I'm like, it happened. I was like, and I didn't think we had a camera at first because I thought we had it facing the other way. And he's like, I said, we don't even have that on camera. He goes, yeah, we do. I got it. I have a camera over that way. I was like, yes. I was like, thank God. I said, I waited like 10 years for that to happen. You know what I mean?
And that's what you brought with you tonight, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, Chris, why don't you run that footage for us to watch it, that dorm opening by itself. What was going on, right? Like, what happened?
Yeah. I'm like waiting for somebody to come through the door. And I'm like, where is he? And I thought maybe the owner came back. And I got up and I walked outside. I looked around. There was no one out there. It was like just deserted. There's like no cars around there, nothing. It's just like empty. And I'm
I
like,
love when that happens.
whoa.
It's
I said,
great.
I
Did you?
looked over at Carl. I was like, dude, there's no one here. He's like, you heard the door handle, right? I'm like, oh yeah, I heard it. It turned. I heard the handle jingling, and that's when I looked
Hmm.
over, and the door just it just blows open. I'm like, I waited 10 years for that to get on camera.
Yeah, that was good. I
10
like that.
years. I'm like, 10 years. I finally got something on video like that. It was
Well,
amazing.
that's what goes back to our earlier conversation before we started recording about how these paranormal shows have all of this stuff that happens, and people tend to believe that it's true when you could be sitting at an investigation for 5 or 6 hours and have nothing happen. You could go back 2 or 3 times and you're lucky if something happens. I'm not going to say that it doesn't happen that we have a really active place that is waiting for you to come there and then tons of stuff happens. But
No,
that's not a realistic occurrence in every investigation. And
no.
so when you have something like that happen, people wonder why you get so excited about it. It's because it doesn't really happen that often. So when
Yeah,
it does, you're tickled pink. You're like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. I can't believe I got that EVP. I
yeah,
can't believe I heard
exactly.
that voice. I can't believe that door moved. And it like 10 years in the making.
Yeah, yeah. It's sort of like fishing when you go like when you're going to look for paranormal things, or it's like fishing. You're throwing out the bait and you're just waiting for the fish to bite it. You know what I mean? You're like, come on to bite it, but sometimes it doesn't bite.
Exactly. They may not, these spirits were humans in life, and sometimes they just don't click with certain people, or they may not be in the mood. It just depends on how they're feeling that night. So,
Yeah, yeah. It's there's a lot of factors in paranormal phenomena that we really don't understand. You know,
mm,
it's hard to understand. All the years I've been investigating, I have more questions than answers. It's really weird. I'm like, how did that happen?
it's
The
so
problem is the
true.
phenomenon is so unpredictable. You never know when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen, where it's going to happen. You don't know.
I've learned about so many different things that I wasn't even aware of before, and like you said, I'm more confused now than I ever was. But
Yeah,
it's definitely food for thought, and it's made me think and rethink, and it's actually helped me in paranormal investigations as well, because you have more of an open mind to it not being just one way. You look and you say, there are other possibilities here that I never even fathomed.
yeah, yep. It
You
is
investigated Harris Hospital. PC
Harrisburg
credit
Hospital. Yeah,
to, yeah, PAHauntedHouses.com. I took a picture off of the internet because I wanted everybody to see the grandeur of this huge, enormous building. It opened in 1851, and it was originally known as Pennsylvania State Lunatic Hospital, operating under that name until 1937. It's said to be the site of violent poltergeist activity, according to the PAHauntedHouses.com website. The hospital closed its doors in 2006. Reports of screams, strange noises, shadows, apparitions, mysterious footsteps have been noted. Said to be most haunted are the morgue, basement, and tunnels below. So tell me, what happened while you were there investigating?
I investigated the Harrisburg Hospital over probably 15 years ago. A friend gained access to the hospital legally because the police uh, patrol this hospital every 15 minutes. There's a police car going by. So if
Oh, no
you're,
kidding.
yeah, if you don't have an escort from the state there, you're going to jail for trespassing. So if there's people in Pennsylvania that think they're going to go up to Harrisburg Hospital and go
Get
paranormal
in.
or whatever that urbex or you're going to jail. Don't do it. They will lock you up. We got stopped with a guide and we were harassed for over an hour by the police and we had someone from the state with us. That's how serious it is. Like you will go to jail quick.
Hmm.
And we did get access to the morgue, which there's no more access to the morgue in Harrisburg Hospital. I don't think anyone can investigate the hospital anymore. Um, but our most activity was in Eaton Hall when we went there. They had a lot of old operating rooms in there, and we had set some motion sensors up in the hallways and in one of the old operating rooms. And we were on the floor below, and we heard one of the motion sensors go off. So we beelined up the stairs, and it was the motion sensor in the old operating room. So I pulled out a camera and I just started popping pictures with no flash. I didn't have any flash on
Hmm.
it. I just started snapping pictures held in bursts around the room.
Which is
And
good. It's good because you
yeah,
can catch something that you didn't expect to catch. Yeah.
yeah, I just hit it on burst and just held it in around the room.
Hmm.
And in the first picture, there's a shadow figure. And in the rest, there's nothing. It's just the first initial picture I took, it's in that first picture. And then the rest, it's nothing. And there was like
Hmm.
I took probably 150 pictures, 200 pictures, and it was nothing except that
That
first one.
happened. That happens. And those
Yep,
are great catches. This is actually the picture that you're talking
yep,
about, that shadow figure.
yep,
I know that's happened to me in the past too, where we would did a succession of pictures, and you'll have one, nothing, and then you'll have something, and then nothing, nothing, nothing.
yep,
I had a situation in a cemetery where I actually got a half of an apparition in one of the pictures, and in the next photo he was full body apparition, and then after that he was gone. So when you catch something like that, you're tickled pink because it's that quick to disappear. So it's just that one moment you have to actually catch it on
Yeah, it was
camera and
amazing.
photo. Look at that.
Yeah, it was amazing, and I highlighted that with I brightened the picture because it was completely dark. When I originally took the picture, you couldn't see anything. You couldn't see any of that, and I highlighted the picture.
Hmm.
And when I highlighted that picture and that shadow was there, I'm like, oh my God, I got a shadow figure on film. I can't believe it.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And you know what's really weird is this
And you
is,
had it,
oh,
huh?
go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. No, you go ahead. What's really
That
weird? What?
picture is amazing in itself because we just did a case last year. Well, it was around Christmas, well, last Christmas, it just passed. And we investigated a doctor in Harrisburg, his house, okay? And he said he used to work at the old Harrisburg hospital. And he said, yeah, I did operations in the old Harrisburg hospital all the time. And I said, really? I said, did you ever experience anything paranormal in there? And he goes, oh, yeah. Yeah, there was a shadow guy we used to see in the old operating room. And my eyes lit up. I was like, well, let me show you
See
something.
that?
I have it on
Full
my phone.
circle.
I pulled my phone
Uh
out. I
huh.
said, let me show you something. Flicked to that picture. I was like, that's the old operating room. He goes, that is the old operating room because that shadow figure is standing right in front of the x-ray machine. I was like, oh my God. He's like, I cannot
That's
believe that.
great.
He's like, can you forward me that picture? I want to send this to my colleagues because they all seen it too. And he's like, I am blown away. I can't believe this. I'm like, all these years later, I meet this guy.
See?
It was
Full
amazing.
circle.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Sometimes I don't like it's nothing's a coincidence. So it's
No,
almost like
like you're meant
it
to be
was
there.
meant to.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is
you are meant to be
great.
there. All this
Yeah.
stuff is for a reason. It's not just for, they just pulled your name out of a hat and, you're there for some reason. That's for sure. That is for
Oh, I
sure.
totally agree. Totally, totally agree. Well, you had an encounter with a mysterious mist that you captured in a home in Minersville, Pennsylvania, where the clients had activity for many years, and you brought that picture with you tonight.
Yeah.
There
Yep.
you go. Yeah,
Yep.
you're in. Is that you interacting with that mist,
That's
or is that
Tom.
Tom?
That's Tom, my case manager. Yeah.
What did he say to you about that mist?
Well, I was upstairs, and we were by the attic, and Tom had came up, and he's like, "Man, I know I seen some weird white mist or something in the basement when me and Carl were down there." And we didn't check the pictures at the time. We were just collecting as much evidence as possible, as much data as possible, and we didn't know he even captured it until we went home and started reviewing all the footage and stuff from the night. And Carl called me. He goes, "Dude, check this out." He sends it to me. He goes, "Tom was said he's seen something white in the basement." He goes, "Look at the mist." He said, I started taking pictures in full spectrum when he said he started seeing something. And the clients all say they see that mist in that area in the corner of the basement. They get this creepy feeling and stuff like that. And lo and behold, there's the mist. And
Yeah,
he captured it on full spectrum.
I can't explain the mist either. I know that spirit takes many different forms, and mist happens to be one of them. And we had an experience exactly that mist that you have in your photograph there. We had when we were in the Sterling Hill mines in Ogdensburg, New Jersey, and it was actually interacting with us. I mean, it would come and then it would disappear, and then we'd say, "Can you do that again? Could you come back?" And then it would come and it would disappear, and we'd say, "Could you do it again?" And this went on for quite some time, and we were all running our cameras. So what ends up happening is everybody gives me their footage at the end of the night, and then I go through it, and I said, this is so good. I got to send this in night, and submitted it to Paranormal Corner Camera, and they featured us on one of their shows because of that footage. So I just can't explain what it is, but I felt like it was spirit or in spirit form as that mist, if it
Yeah.
makes sense. And
Yeah.
I also had experience with a mist when this was a personal encounter. It was my daughter and I. She was an infant, and I was having a mommy and me time with her. We were in her dimmed bedroom. The lights were dim. I was rocking her in the chair, and I had her bedroom door slightly ajar. And my dad had passed away while I was pregnant, so
Oh,
he
sorry
had
to hear
never
that.
met my daughter. Thank you. And I'm in the rocking chair with her and just rocking, and all of a sudden, this what I thought at first was smoke wafting through the bedroom door. And I immediately jump up from the chair to go holler out to my husband, the house is on fire, because that was my immediate reaction. And then when I realized when I opened up the door, the mist wasn't in the hallway, it was now behind me, whirling itself in the room, proceeded to go out the wall. And immediately it came to me, Dad. It was almost like that word was implanted in my head, Dad. So I knew that that was my father making his presence known in this mist.
Oh, I lost you. Oh, lost you.
Yeah, she should be back here in a minute.
Okay.
No, those are good pictures and videos.
Yeah, yeah, man. There's some incredible stuff we've captured, and it's all by luck, you know.
About that. Sorry about that. I got
That's
disconnected
okay.
now. Did what part did you hear everything that I said, or was I cut off completely?
I heard the part too where you seen the mist in the room that you thought was there was smoke in the house.
Yeah. Oh, that's all you heard, huh? Okay.
Yep.
I thought it was smoke, and I went to go holler to my husband that the house was on fire. When I realized that the this smoky mist was no longer in the hallway, it was behind me, whirling itself in the room, and it was almost as if it imprinted in my mind, Dad, and then it went
Wow.
out the wall. So I knew that was my dad coming to visit, and I knew he was taking that mist in his spirit form. And it was really, really cool. So I've had those two experiences with mist. I can't explain it, but I feel like that was spirit's way of presenting itself.
Yeah, definitely. I've experienced this stuff a couple times, and so have my clients over the years. They've seen it just like you. It started out where they just started seeing the feet, and then it could gradually move to the knees. They started seeing up to the
Mm,
knees, and then it went to full bodied apparition.
really?
It started it
Ah,
started out as smoke though, like you said. It started out like they thought
yeah.
there was some kind of smoke or something. They were like, "What the heck is that?" And then it went from smoke to them just seeing feet, and then it went from
Hmm.
feet to the knees, and then finally full bodied apparition. It was
Oh
crazy.
my God, that must have been amazing.
Yeah, I wish I would have seen it. I never seen him, but they did, and
Oh,
I'm like, dang, I wish I would have seen that. But we did
yeah,
hear the footsteps and stuff in the house, which was crazy.
yeah. I love that when that happens. Oh boy. Anyway, okay, so you also were telling me about this black entity in the Ephrata, Pennsylvania. Is
Ephrata,
that how you
yep,
pronounce
Ephrata,
Ephrata?
yep, hmm
Ephrata,
yep,
Pennsylvania case, and you actually have a video of it on your YouTube link that you
yes,
sent us. And
yep,
I gave that to Chris, and hopefully we won't have any problems because I really wanted to show the viewers that video because it is really cool. So you want to explain it before Chris tries to run it for us?
sure, sure. Um, yeah, he's got it up there.
Yeah, I think he's trying to just load it. It takes a little
Gotcha.
while. So go ahead. You can
So we
do you want to
you want to play the video? Or you want me to explain it, or
you can explain it.
okay? Um, we got a call from a woman in Ephrata, Pennsylvania, that she was seeing this black mist, and it was kind of shape shifting into different things, like a little boy, and then a big figure, like a 7 foot figure, and all kinds of really strange stuff. Seeing light anomalies and things like that, and I said,
Mhm.
sure, we'll come out and investigate it. And I never go into a home thinking that it's haunted, because that's kind of the worst thing you could do, is because then you're psyching yourself up to automatically thinking there's something there when maybe there's nothing. So I go up to this is the first room I go to. It's the bedroom. They have right there where that camera's sitting. It's a dresser. So I said, "Where's the last time you seen this thing?" And she said, "I seen it right here off to the right in the closet. We can't never keep that closet door shut. It opens up on its own all the time, and this is where it comes out of all the time." And so I said, "Okay, I'll set a camera right here facing the doorway. If something comes out of that closet, we're going to catch it." So I leave,
Mm-hmm.
and it's around 9 o'clock at night. I leave, I go downstairs, and lo and behold, we're catching it, and it's coming out of the closet 2 minutes later, and I don't even realize we're catching it because I'm downstairs talking to the client. She hasn't even left yet, and we're recording it, and it's an amazing piece of video where this black mass on the right, on the closet, you'll see it black out the closet. It completely creates its own mass, and you can no longer see the door jamb of the closet. It just completely blacks it out, moves across the room. This happens every 6 minutes. It's moving back and forth from that little dresser to the closet, to the closet, to the dresser. It's amazing. It's the best piece of
Very cool.
video I've ever
That's
captured.
your favorite
Oh
one
yeah.
ever, huh?
Oh yeah.
All right, Chris, let's go for it. Let's watch this one.
You'll see it manifest on the right at the closet. It's just right there.
Oh, there you go. Mm-hmm.
Blocks out the joint, the jam. You can't see it anymore, and then just disappears.
Wow.
And I slowed the clip down so you can see how it kind of manifests itself and creates its own mass, which is scientifically impossible, but it did it. You know, and it's
Yeah.
can't explain it. So I slowed this clip down by half so you can really see how it starts to create itself. Right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Look at that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That is really, really crazy cool.
And this is exactly what she claims. And at a certain point in the video, it manifests over by that little dresser, real small, and it
Uh-huh.
creates itself to go. It sweeps down towards the floor, back to the closet, and then grows big. And it's
Hmm.
amazing. There's a lot of things going on in that house that I can't
You,
explain.
you can't explain. This is 14 minutes later. You have on there.
Yep. See it just flashed right in front of the dresser right there.
Hmm.
There it is.
There you go. There it is.
Now it's creating itself, and then it starts to move. It sweeps down near the
Ooh,
floor.
that
You see that?
did you see that
Yeah.
did you see that orb that just went by though?
Yeah. It came out of the
It,
closet, and see
wow,
now it's
look
going.
at that. Oh, wow.
Yep.
Yeah. And there
Sweeps
was
back.
actually an orb that came from the right to the
Yep.
left.
It came out of that closet.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it might be a portal of some sort?
That's what I've been thinking all along, and I'm like, I'm not one of those people that are like, oh, it's a portal, it's a portal, but I can't explain where that's coming from, and it's definitely
Mm.
coming from there, and between the dresser and there, which there's a black spot on this dresser that I can't explain why that's there.
Hmm.
There's a black spot, and that's where it goes to. For some reason, it goes to that little black spot there, and I see how it's manifesting right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't. I'm thinking there's something going on right here that I cannot explain.
Hmm.
Why it's manifesting there and going back to that closet. I just cannot. There it is. It's growing. It's creating. It's just blocking
Yeah.
out the dresser. It's
Hmm.
still translucent, but it's dark enough to where it's creating. And there's that.
Do you see that?
Yep, there it
Yeah.
went.
That is wild. Ah,
Watch
that was
later in the
wild.
clip. Later in the clip, the one comes through the doorway, like it looks like a UFO almost.
Really?
Yeah, it goes back to the closet.
Yeah, when you slow it down, you could really see.
How
You
it's
could
moving.
really see it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing. And look how it's just there and it's just staying there. You know what I mean? It's just
Mm.
it's getting bigger. It's just creating its own mass, which is
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing. I just can't explain it. It's the best video of a black mass that I've ever seen and ever recorded.
And you say you had no idea this was happening until
No,
later
I
when
had
you.
no idea until I went home and started reviewing
Ooh.
the evidence. Yeah. Yep. See, that's just
All this
like a
happening and
burst
you had
of,
no idea.
yeah, that was just like a burst of energy right there. Boom, there it
Yeah.
is. It's just, it's amazing.
Is that a poster that the person has hanging in the closet or something on the
It's just
right-hand side?
like a hat or something that was in the closet.
Oh, because it kind of looks like a
A
poster of a
face, yeah.
person. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like hats she had up there and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like a
Okay.
shelf up there. Originally, this was shot in IR, and I added an infrared filter to the camera, just so I wanted to shoot in some different spectrums. So I added an infrared filter to it, and the first time I did it, I captured this. I'm like, maybe I'm onto something, but that's the only time I ever captured anything. It was with that
Hmm.
one, and it was a really old school camera.
Wow. Could you imagine? And it caught all that. Wow. Now it's
Yeah,
all
later
still. It
on,
almost
yeah,
it
this
three
one, I
minutes
think,
later at 9/11.
yeah. There's one that comes through that doorway. I swear, it's really solid looking. See that just see that burst of energy right
Well,
there.
yeah, it almost feels like
See it?
it looks like in the doorway this morphing
Yeah,
mass. It seems like
yes.
it's there and it's moving.
It's like a big
If you
U.
really watch, yeah, it just is there.
Oh, do you see
Oh,
that?
yes, I saw that. What the
That's what I was
heck was
talking about.
that?
Yeah, it's like a
What the
UFO
heck
coming
was
through the door.
that? Yeah.
Yeah,
Holy crap.
there's
I've
so much
never
stuff,
seen anything like that before. That
and
was
you'll see it
wild.
really good when I slow it down. You'll see that thing come through the doorway too, which is there's
Hmm.
all kinds of stuff going on, and I just cannot explain what the
Have you
heck is
ever
going on.
tried to still that picture and zoom into that thing that was coming through the doorway to see if you? Because usually
Yeah,
when something like that,
it looks like an orb or something that's
mm-hmm.
I've
And
paused it
some
on my big TV.
and sometimes when you zoom in on those orbs, you can actually see faces in them.
Yeah, this thing
That's why I
is
asked if you ever did that. Oh, wow.
thing should be coming through that door. There it is.
Oh, oh my God. It almost
See
looked
how
like
big it is?
a
Yeah.
bat or a bird
Yeah,
or,
that's how
oh my
big it
God.
is, you know?
That was so crazy
Yeah, that's how big it
cool.
is.
Today, I'm going to be talking with you about
Uh-oh.
how
Oh,
you
this is
can
not
use
you, so we could
Okay.
take this off.
I thought that was me. I was like,
Was
what the
that
heck I do?
well, sometimes when you're on YouTube lately, they've been sticking actually advertisements and
Wow.
commercials in between our stuff. And so you'll
That's
randomly be
yeah.
in the middle of watching something, and all of a sudden there'll be this advertisement that somebody paid to stick in your thing.
Wow.
So it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well, that was really cool. So I love that. Please tell everybody that's been tuning in today where they can find your YouTube link and what your podcast show is and where they can find it. And if they want to reach out to your team in your area, how they could do that.
Sure. My website is Harrisburg Area Paranormal.com. You can go to the Facebook page, which is Harrisburg Area Paranormal Society, along with my YouTube channel, which is Harrisburg Area Paranormal Society. And you can, if you want to listen to my podcast, it's just audio. It's not video, but it's the Paranormal Journal podcast on Podbean. But I'm on all social platforms like Spotify, iTunes. It's on all the podcast platforms that you can imagine it's on there. So,
Yeah.
and
And
my
what do you have
contacts on the
planned?
website. So,
Go ahead on the website, which is the same name as the team,
yeah.
Harrisburg
My
area.
name and contact number is on the website along with my case manager. If you want to contact us in the Harrisburg area, we go through out all Pennsylvania investigating, even into Maryland, Ohio, North Carolina. I've been as far as North Carolina, so
Mm,
we go everywhere. If there's somebody needs us, we go.
cool. And what are your plans for the months ahead?
Well, I got a case, two cases this weekend. we're going back to a case in Newcastle, and I just got 2 new cases. So we're getting busy again, and I like it. It stays busy, and the more you investigate, the more phenomena you're going to experience. So I'm excited.
Absolutely.
I'm excited.
And you're leaving your clients with some kind of answer
Oh yeah, yeah,
and
definitely.
letting them know they're not crazy.
Nah, they're definitely not crazy. And I just had a case in Minersville. It was like that of a single mom with 3 kids, and the kids were experiencing paranormal phenomena. The mother wasn't. We went in there and we started having things happening. I said, "Yeah, your house is definitely active. We're we've heard voices and bangs and knocking
Oh,
on the
wow.
walls. Yeah, one of the doors shook, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, you have things going on. We heard disembodied voices, and it put her mind at ease. She wound up moving, but she said she couldn't handle that. It was the first time she ever experienced anything like that, and she was getting out. I don't blame her. She had 3 small
Oh.
kids. I'm leaving. I can't take this anymore. I'm
Well,
gone.
were the kids afraid?
Oh yeah, the 8-year-old is still afraid, and I'm actually going to be
Oh.
seeing them shortly to go over all the evidence with her. I haven't even let her hear the amount of stuff that we caught out of there, which is really highly intelligent responses and bangs and footsteps in the attic, and it just a ton of stuff we recorded. But I'm definitely gonna sit down with her and they moved, so they moved out of that house, but I'm gonna give her one of St. Michael's blessed medal that I have. Just so it gives her kind
Mhm.
of an assurance that wear this and everything's gonna be okay. You don't have to worry about not sleeping with the lights on. She sleeps with the lights on now. She's just afraid of everything now.
Oh, that's
She's just
sad.
8. She's
Yeah.
8 years old, so
Oh,
she's really scared.
yeah. I know it. I was a kid that had a spirit in the house that I grew up in too, and it's frightening, especially if
Yeah,
you don't understand it. And then it's tough when you have family members that don't understand it either, that they can explain to you on how to handle something like that.
yeah,
If they do and they can explain it to you, then I feel like it's easier for you to accept and not be afraid of it. But if not, then you're going to be afraid when you're that
yeah,
little. So I feel
yeah.
so bad. Yeah.
Yeah, she's such a sweet little girl too, and I was like, felt so bad for her. I was like, we're gonna give her some things to try to reassure her that everything's gonna be okay. I mean, she's seen
Yeah.
a full bodied apparition and it scared her to death, and
Oh, I'll bet. Oh,
that was
yeah.
she didn't sleep upstairs anymore. That was it. But
Well,
yeah,
thank you for helping her and her mom and her siblings
yeah,
and
yeah,
for
it was
what you do. I
definitely
think it's great that you help the families out and thank you for doing that.
yeah. Thank you for having me on the show tonight. This has been
It
fun.
was great. This was really a lot of fun. Yeah, I love talking
Yeah,
about this stuff. So
me too. I
you'll have to
love it.
come back on. You'll have to come back on again sometime.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
And thank you, Techie Chris. We couldn't do it without you too. If you like listening to this week's episode and you're into all things paranormal, check out my other show, Eleanor Wagner's Strange and Scary World podcast, out of the Paranormal UK radio network, which is available wherever you get your podcasts. And if any of you are interested in reading any of my books, you can find the links to them on my website, authoreleanorwagner.com. I write about the history of the town and location, add the paranormal story to the mix, and finish it all off with photos and evidence. Viewers, tune in on Thursday, April 13th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when I'll be interviewing Southwest Abnormal about their many investigations and the evidence they've unearthed. Until next time, good night.
I hope you've enjoyed this little journey down my own personal nightmare alley. If you're one of those people who experiences the paranormal and has stories of your own you've been filing away over the years, I want to hear about them. And if you're a part of a paranormal investigative team, even better. I'd love to have you on my show. Got a questionable photo? Send it in. Would love to have an open discussion here amongst the professionals. Reach out to me at authoreleanorwagner@gmail.com. Enjoy our soundtrack music, Headless Horseman by Alexander Nakarada, promoted by freestockmusic.com. And remember, No ghost story is better than a real-life ghost story. Until we meet again, make sure you're creeping it real.